Studio, welcome back to Niner Wire. I'm your host, Sam, and today we are back for another pregame analysis. This week, we got week 2 versus the New York Jets at MetLife. Should be a good game. Got to bounce back from that loss last week. We're going to break it down all here, preview the game, talk about what to watch for, you name it, just the normal pregame routine that we always do. And for this episode, we got a new guy here. We got Pierce right here. How you doing today, Pierce?
What's going on, Sam? I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm excited for this. Should be a good game today. Got to bounce back from that awful loss yesterday. I think this is the perfect opportunity to do it against this weak Jets team. I mean, both are fairly injury prone, so we'll have to talk about that a bit later. But I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I think if this is absolutely the game in the Niners' schedule to have George Kittle out. This is absolutely the game to get Ayuk implemented into the game and make him feel good, get him into a rhythm as a rookie. I think this is a great team to go against because Jamison Crowder's out for the Jets. He was huge. He was basically their whole offense last week.
Yeah, so I know.
So this is definitely the game this might be the Niners' weakest opponent of the year, to be honest.
For sure. And I think you gotta capitalize on this opportunity, man. I think you could be a lot of people are talking about this game as a free win. So I mean, you really gotta capitalize on it. I mean, they have players out. We got players out. Let's get that win. Let's make sure we come on top today. Let's break it down all here. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to follow me on Twitter at NinerWireSam. My Instagram is at NinerWire_YT. I post a lot of content there relating the channel, relating the 49ers, relating sports, you name it. Make sure to follow me there. Also, guys, got to make sure to follow Pierce on Twitter at _Pierce Baker. He talks a lot about the Niners, so make sure to follow him. And, guys, both Pierce and I are writers for the Brawl Network. You got to make sure to check that out. www.thebrawlnetwork.com. Those are some social media platforms you can follow. I'm also a co-host of Gridiron Brawl, so at Gridiron Brawl. And also make sure to check out the Brawl Network YouTube channel as well. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, leave them in the live chat below. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So do you want to start off with just like going off over like the 49ers keys to the game? Just start with that.
Yeah, 100%. The 49ers need to establish the run. So Jimmy looked rusty last week against the Cardinals. Obviously, the Jets are not the Cardinals. The Cardinals are an upcoming team, and so the Jets are not the Cardinals. However, they need to establish the run. And I saw a statistic that last year Jimmy Garoppolo was 7-1 on the road. So that's fantastic. So he's awesome on the road. Let's hope that he can establish that again this week because last year he started off a little rusty against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then he kind of got going after that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's always it's always the rustiness at the beginning of the year. It really slows every quarterback down, and the fact that there was no preseason, I think that hurts. Obviously, that hurts even more. But
100%.
Yeah, hopefully he can step it up today. And I kind of have him as my offensive key as well. Just keep the ball moving. It kind of with the run. Also with the pass, this is a very weak Jets D. With no Jamal Adams, no CJ Mosley, this D is significantly worse from last year. And I mean, they put up a decent performance against Buffalo. They have a solid run D, which I'm going to talk about later. But if we keep the ball moving, it's going to tire them out. This young D that's fairly inexperienced, if you ask me, and most other fans. So if you just keep the ball moving with this offense, it can become like that high octane offense that we've always wanted to have. And you can just keep the ball moving, keep pounding into the end zone, and that's how you're going to win the game for the Niners. And you got guys like Brandon Ayuk, Mohamed Sanu. Those are the perfect guys. Just keep the ball moving. If you want a guy who can replace Deebo Samuel, those are the two perfect guys to have. So I think you're going to see a lot of action from those guys today. They are two of my key players for the game, which I'm going to talk about later. But, just keep the ball moving with these offensive weapons, whether it's on the run or in the air. Just keep the ball moving. And if it's on the run and we keep the ball moving, that's huge because their run D is pretty damn good if you ask me. So
100% because talking about the Jets defense, I read an interesting statistic that the Jets defense last year was number 2 DVOA, defense adjusted value over average. And so this is definitely not a trap game where you can just say, hey, this is like a game that the Niners can just kind of cruise through, snooze through, because really in the NFL, you can't do that with any team. So although this is the weakest team on the schedule, you can't do that with any team because the Niners, what they want to do is they want to establish the run against this defense. Yet that's what the Jets want them to do.
Exactly.
So I think that, like you said, Brandon Ayuk and Mohamed Sanu, they need to get going here. So let's hope that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, if they get going, it's going to be really tough to stop this 49ers offense. And you were adding on to, like, you can't just sleep on any opponent. And I think
100%.
the Niners cannot go down, cannot be 0-2 to start the year. That's just like, there is something wrong in this organization if they're 0-2 to start the year, especially if you're coming off a Super Bowl appearance. And I mean, look at last year. I mean, you kind of blew the Atlanta game. Like, you had everyone was kind of taking that a bit easier. And look what happened there, 13-3. Then we had to, like, ball out really hard for week 17 to get that win. Hard-fought game where we could have just beaten Atlanta, beaten LA, not worried about week 17 at all. So, I mean, every game matters in this NFL, whether it's week 1, week 17, week 2. You got to really just ball out every game, perform to the best that you can, and try to just come out on top every game. So, yeah, I think the offense, if they just keep the ball moving, whatever they do, it's going to be looking great for this team. The Jets D is going to have no answer for them.
Right, 100%. Elite teams don't lose games like this. So elite teams don't lose games where you need to win, you're supposed to win, you're 0-1. If you want to get back to the Super Bowl, if you want to be the team that you were last season, you need to win this game. I understand that you're injured. I understand George Kittle is out, but just looking at this game and the team that you're playing, you need to win if you expect to be a true contender. So
yeah, exactly. This is a must-win game. I'd say first must-win game of the season for us. So yeah,
100%.
Yeah, and then on the defensive side, my only key for this is just pressure, straight up, because the Jets they don't have any weapons. No Jamison Crowder, no Le'Veon Bell. The weapons there it's very limited. So Sam Darnold's not going to have much to work with, and if you apply that pressure against that weak O line, you're just going to be able to stop him. He's not going to be able to do anything that game. Neither is Frank Gore or whoever else is running the ball for them. Is LaMichael Perine running the ball for them, or is he hurt?
Yeah, so he had an ankle injury, but he's in camp, but he's looking like he was limited in practice, so I think he's good to go today.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, I liked him going into the draft, so
yeah,
I've always wanted to see how he does.
He had a good camp.
What? Who?
So,
good camp.
Yeah. So I think that they're really going to be relying on Frank Gore. Selfishly, I want Frank Gore to have 100 yards.
Oh, for sure. Who doesn't?
The Niners don't want that to happen, but I want that to happen.
The fans want it to happen. The team doesn't. So
exactly. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to see Frank Gore do well? But
exactly.
Yeah, but if we're looking at a realistic standpoint, stopping Frank Gore is going to be key. Stopping the run is going to be key. I mean, last week, with that god-awful week against the run, we couldn't do anything. We're going to have to step it up, figure it out. Because, I mean, our run defense was pretty bad last year, and I thought we were going to get going on this run D, and it seems like we haven't yet. So stopping Frank Gore is going to be a major key to the game, and I think that all really starts with that pressure, because the O-line is not going to be able to do anything if you're doing anything. Like, look at Mekhi Becton, probably their best run blocker on that team. You got Nick Bosa going up against him. If Nick Bosa is attacking Mekhi Becton, then it's game over for Frank Gore.
Yeah, that's no competition. Yeah, that's no competition 100%. I would definitely agree with that. I think that the biggest priority here is for the Niners to get pressure, like you said, because Jamison Crowder was their entire offense. So I think that as long as the Niners can get pressure, they can hold the Jets within 10 points in this game. So
yeah, for sure. Is Denzel Mims playing today?
I don't know. Let me
check. I'm just Googling it right now. Denzel Mims injury. Let me see. I
think Perriman's their number one.
Perriman's their number one for sure today. I don't know about Mims at all, but Mims is another guy to look out for if he's playing. I mean, I really liked him, but again, it's a rookie wide receiver, I should say. That, I mean, it always takes a while to get going, and when you have a quarterback like Sam Darnold, it's not going to get going immediately whatsoever. So he definitely will be another player to watch today on that Jets team. Rashad Perriman for sure. I mean, if the Jets want to win, I mean, we can just move right into the offensive keys. I have a different one, but Gore and Perriman need to step it up. That's one of my big ones for the Jets. I mean, if they can get a weapon to step it up, then they're just going to target that weapon all game, especially Perriman. Because, I mean, you got Ahkello Witherspoon and Emmanuel Mosley. Yeah. And Ahkello, that's a lot different from Richard Sherman and Emmanuel Mosley.
Yeah.
So if they can target Ahkello, I mean, Ahkello got picked on a lot last year when they were exposing his weaknesses. I mean, you got Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf. They were just killing Ahkello. And if the Jets can find someone who can kill Ahkello like they did, then they're just going to keep targeting him, keep picking on him. And then the Niners are probably, which is going to, I don't even know. Like, it probably have to be Dante Johnson, which is even worse than Akello.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I know it's not good, but they gotta target their receivers a lot if they want to on offense. But my main key for the Jets offense is run protection. As we were kind of just talking about, the Niners had a terrible run D last week, had terrible run D last year. So I think the Jets are going to try to capitalize on that. But also beware of Niners adjustments, because they're obviously looking to make adjustments in that run defense.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I want to your point that the Niners had a bad run defense. I wouldn't necessarily say it was terrible. It's just they were playing Kyler Murray. Like, if we're being honest here, like, Kyler Murray might be an MVP candidate this year with just how much of an accurate passer he is, and just he's another Lamar Jackson, honestly, on the field.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the fastest person on the field, and so luckily Sam Darnold is nothing like that. And so I think that the Niners will have a lot better time keeping Sam Darnold in the pocket, because as we saw last year, any pocket passer the Niners faced against, they dominated them.
Absolutely.
They dominated them 100%. And so even Russell Wilson, who's a step slower this year, or compared to years in the past, the Niners did a really good job of keeping Russell Wilson in the pocket to an extent. So
yeah,
I think that the Niners, what they want to do this, like I said before, what they want to do this game is they want to establish the run on the road, and then they want to get Brandon Ayuk involved. If Mohamed Sanu can get there and be involved anyway in some capacity, that would be fantastic. Because in New England, he didn't look good last year, but honestly, no receiver looked good in that offense last year.
Yeah, for sure.
So where he did look good was in Kyle Shanahan's offense. Obviously,
exactly.
Matt Ryan isn't Jimmy Garoppolo at this point, or if he will ever be. But at the end of the day, Mohamed Sanu knows that offense. He excelled in that offense, and they need him to excel today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if the Niners can get that passing game down, then it's going to look really good. As we've been saying that a lot. And I mean, my defensive key is pass defense for the Jets on defense. I mean, no Debo, no Kittle. I mean, you always got Jordan Reed injury prone. Mohamed Sanu learning a new offense. It's a bit easier for him, but still, Niners offense is probably different from the Falcons offense in 2016.
Yeah.
And then Brandon Ayuk, first game as an NFL rookie. Like, you have everything going in the world for this Jets D to stop this team. This elite team, you have everything to stop that pass game. And then on top of that, I mean, the run game, we've talked about a lot, how they're good at that. But if they can stop the pass defense, then I think that's going to cause Niners a lot of trouble. And Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have the game that he had last game if he can't get the ball to his receivers. So
yeah,
I think, for sure. Go ahead.
I might apologize. Yeah, if Jimmy Garoppolo can't throw today, if he can't get the ball to his receivers whatsoever, the Niners are really going to struggle, because then they can just focus 100% on Raheem Mostert in the running game, and that's what really you expect. And so this might be a trap game. You know, the Niners could easily go 0-2 here. I don't think that's going to happen, because Kyle Shanahan is a better coach than Adam Gase.
For sure.
He's a superior talent, and the Niners obviously are superior talent in general to the Jets. So I don't think that should happen, but the Niners might get some trouble here if they don't take this game seriously.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you got to really capitalize on I'm not saying this is an easy game, but this game should be an easy game. On paper, it looks like it's an easy game. But if the Niners are not capitalizing on one thing, it's going to start bringing a lot of concerns to the table. So they really got to capitalize on, just like as I've been saying, keep moving the ball, pressure. Those are the two main things they really have to capitalize on, and just be the superior team today. I mean, there's nothing really else to say. You just have to be better than this team today. You should be better than this team. You are better than this team. So now show it. It's that simple.
100%. I think that what should be mentioned is that the Niners, Jimmy Garoppolo specifically, really struggled without George Kittle last year. And so I think that although the teams that they were playing against without George Kittle are not the Jets, I think that that's something to note for Niners fans going into this game, that Jimmy Garoppolo is not the same player without George Kittle, the number one tight end in the NFL. So hopefully he can excel. This is the game to excel. Obviously, it's a little scary for Akello Weatherspoon to go into this game and not Richard Sherman. but we'll see what happens because Ahkello Witherspoon was a 3rd-round pick overall, and he was playing excellent before he got injured last year. So we'll see what happens.
For sure. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Ahkello Witherspoon myself. So
yeah, I mean, he definitely, like, the film that you watch, he's definitely has what it takes. He just needs that talent aspect.
Yeah.
But I mean, you said that Garoppolo was at worst without Kittle last year, and I wouldn't say he's much worse because I know he had 3 touchdowns without Kittle in the first Arizona game. I forgot how many touchdowns he had in the Seattle game. I think it was like 2 or something. And then 4 touchdowns in the second Arizona game. So honestly, that could have been one of his best 3-game stretch. It's really, I would say it's not Garoppolo that struggles more. It's the run that struggles more because of that blocking aspect. The run, like, you can't do anything with that run without Kittle. But I'm a bit less concerned because, I mean, we got Jordan Reed this year, who's definitely an upgrade over Ross Dwelly. And we still got Dwelly, who could be that big red zone target if needed. And then for the blocking side, we got Charlie Warner. I don't know if you've watched any of my videos, but I am so high on that guy. Just
I've heard a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this dude's blocking is ridiculous. So I'm excited to see what he can do today, blocking wise, to replace Kittle. But yeah, I'm not too concerned about the tight ends. I'm mainly concerned about the running game and just like how that will impact how Kittle's loss will impact that, I should say. But as for like the tight ends and Garoppolo's play, I'm not too concerned considering that Kittle's more of a run blocker. And if you're looking for a pass blocker, you could just go someone like Kyle Juszczyk or even Charlie Warner. I was just saying. Plus, adding on to that, the Jets' rush D really not that great either. I mean, it's just like Quentin Williams, who's not even that good. And that's who they had someone last week. I feel like that did really well, though. If I pull up their depth chart really quickly. Defense? Yeah, there was a pass rusher against Buffalo. I'm thinking of someone else, I think.
Well, if anybody's gonna have to excel for the Jets, speaking for the Jets, it's got to be Quentin Williams because if there's a weakness on the offensive line, it's definitely interior O line. Because Mike McGlinchey,
for sure.
Yeah, because Mike McGlinchey is not going to get you any. You're not going to get anywhere with Michael McGlinchey. However, but the interior and the O line, they're playing with their 3rd string O line. Are they still playing with 3rd string center?
Garland's in today. Garland's healthy, right. So Garland's going to be playing. Now we're at full strength minus Weston Richburg. Okay. But we knew Richburg wasn't going to play. Plus, I'm fine with Garland. So it's going to be Daniel Brunskill, Ben Garland, Laken Tomlinson. Also, I got to say, like, they have a lot of faith in Laken Tomlinson today, I feel like. I mean, Tom Compton was listed as inactive. That was a bit of a surprise to me. Yeah. So I think they got a lot of faith in that interior line. Let me just read out the inactives today really quickly. Let me pull them up.
Beautiful. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so that would get everyone a better sense of what's going on today. Let me see. Hang on, sorry. Okay. Hang on. Okay, inactives today. George Kittle, D. Ford, CJ Beathard, Tom Compton, Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, Jason Verrett. So only 3 healthy scratches today, which is nice. Nice. But I guess I'm really happy to see Contavious Street back in. That dude balled out during camp. I was surprised he was inactive week 1. Now he's active. I would not be surprised to see a lot of action from him today. Maybe making a big impact. But we'll see. Obviously, our interior D-line with Armstead, Kinlaw looked really good last week, so we may not need him that much. But
Kinlaw, yeah, I mean, I think it should be noted that Kinlaw had a fantastic game last Sunday.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he was dominating his one-on-ones. So
yeah, he was definitely
down a couple times, but he had a fantastic game.
Yeah, for sure. I think the problem with the Niners line last week is that they just couldn't get to Kyler Murray. I mean, they got through, but then Kyler Murray could just scramble out because he's Kyler Murray. Right. So that's why I kind of have pressure as that key of the game. I mean, it definitely concerned me last week, the fact that Kerry Hyder had our only sack of the game. Yeah. And that's a guy that's I thought he was going to get cut like a few months ago. Yeah. And now he's balling out. I mean, good for him and like good for this team. Now we got someone there, but we need the guys like Bosa, Armstead, Kinlaw, D. Ford when he's healthy. I know he's not healthy today, but those are the 4 guys that really need to step it up to just in general, get those sacks, get the quarterback. That's how you win games in this league, especially with a speed rush. You got to get D. Ford, Kerry Hyder going. But Kerry Hyder did his job last week, and that's another one of my key players today. Kerry Hyder hopefully can continue his success. he's going to be starting over D4 today, so that's nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
I think really what it boils down to is, obviously this is a new season, but if last season is comparable whatsoever, the Niners struggled in the Atlanta game because they had Julio Jones going against them. And so obviously DeAndre Hopkins might be the best wide receiver in the NFL.
For sure.
That is up for debate, but I don't think many people would argue.
He's top two. It's Julio and it's a toss up between Julio and Hopkins. It's one of those two guys.
So if you're going against an elite quarterback who knows how to run, and the Niners struggled with Lamar Jackson, but they overall contained Lamar Jackson in the second half of that game last year, but obviously they struggled against Kyler Murray and his running capabilities. So I think that, one, going against Kyler Murray and his running capabilities, and two, going against probably the best wide receiver in the NFL, they struggled. The Niners defense kind of struggled because they had so many plays that they were going against, and Jimmy Garoppolo, frankly, didn't play well. So I think that this game, they should bounce back. I think the Niners should bounce back in a big way, even though they are very injured. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, both teams, we've been saying, like, they have injuries, so I think both teams are going to try to capitalize on those injuries a lot. I mean, I think it's definitely lucky that Witherspoon and Crowder are both out, because now they have to target Rashad Perriman, who's really not that good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they'll be able to get some guys like that. So yeah, it's looking good. I gotta say, Witherspoon, if he wants to have a good game, today's the day for him to step it up and show that he's worthy of still playing on this team. So
I think at the end of the day, like, the Niners should not take this as a trap game, and any NFL game is still tough. But even with all of the injuries said, the Niners should still destroy the Jets. Like, this is a game that
absolutely.
This is a game that you should win by at least 2 touchdowns. So,
yeah, for sure. Definitely. All right, you ready to get into some key players? Just name some key players for every team.
Yeah, let's do it. You start off.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to start with my Niners key players. So I got a few. So Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously he has to bounce back. That's my biggest concern today. He has to bounce back after that atrocious game last week. If he doesn't bounce back, that's going to cause some major concern within this organization. Brandon Ayuk and Mohamed Sanu, we've talked about a lot. I think they can definitely capitalize on that Jets weakness in that secondary this year. So I think that's looking good. Jordan Reed replacing Kittle. They're going to target him a lot. Expect to see him on the field often. And if he gets hurt, hopefully he doesn't. But I mean, I'm always going to say that, like, hopefully Jordan Reed doesn't get hurt considering his past. But I'm hoping he stays healthy today. I'm hoping that he balls out today, and I hope he replaces Kittle really well. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. On the defensive side, I got a few guys. Kerry Hyder, like I said, replacing D4, had a very good week 1. Hopefully he can carry that on to week 2. I know Robert Saleh, Chris Kuceric absolutely love that guy, so you might see him on the field a lot. Akello Witherspoon, we've talked about a lot, replacing Richard Sherman. Got to lock up, whether it's Perriman, Mims, whoever else is their receiver. Got to lock it up because they're going to be targeting whoever's on Witherspoon often today. So make sure to watch that. And then the last, it's not really a person, but just like a group of people, the linebacker core. I got to say, last game, I mean, Warner kind of was all over the place at the beginning, but I kind of didn't really see what he was doing. Dre Greenlaw had a good game, but Quan Alexander was completely lost. So I think you can mainly just say Quan Alexander is the key player. But I'm just going to go to the linebacker core as a whole because they're really key in stopping that run. So if they can stop that run with Frank Gore and LaMichael Perrine, then it's looking really good for this team. So, yeah, those are all my key players for the Niners. What you got?
Yeah, so I think I would pretty much echo everything you just said. I think I would want to just emphasize that Akello Witherspoon needs to have a great day today.
Absolutely.
He needs to have a fantastic day. Sam Darnold is not an elite quarterback. You need to have a great day today. When Akello Witherspoon struggled, it was against DK Metcalf and elite wide receivers. Well, you're not going against elite wide receivers today.
And elite quarterbacks. Well, I wouldn't say Kirk Cousins is elite, but still, like, Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, those are top Diggs, 15 quarterbacks with ease. So
yeah, Stephon Diggs, he struggled against. But Perriman is not Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is a really good wide receiver, and the wide receivers are going against today are, frankly, not nearly as good. So
For
Ahkello
sure.
Witherspoon needs to dominate today and show why he was the third round pick and why he deserves to be re-signed. So I think this today needs to be a big day for him. Echoing everything you just said, I think Nick Bosa needs to have a dominant game. This is a
Yeah, for
game where
sure.
he should have 2 sacks. I think this is a game where he'll show that he begins his Defensive Player of the Year campaign because he looks probably better than last year. He looks thinner.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He looks thinner. He looks stronger. He just looks awesome. Javon Kinlaw needs to have a great game. I think that on the Jets side, their best chance is Frank Gore. And while that pains me to say, Frank Gore needs to have a great game. And so I want him to have a great game while still having the Niners play well. And so I hope that Frank Gore can at least get like 50 yards. But I think that with Le'Veon Bell on IR, that hurts. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
So with Frank Gore as your top option, you need to have him get going. Because if you're just sitting back and standing in the pocket all day for Sam Darnold, he's not mobile like Kyler Murray. The Niners' defensive line is going to dominate, even without D Ford. So Nick Bosa
absolutely
is insane. So I think that if you're the Jets, you want Frank Gore to get established. You don't want Sam Darnold to step back and drop back because, Becton against Nick Bosa, that's not a good combo. That's not a combo that you want. That's not a matchup that you want. So
yeah, man, absolutely. And I mean, you talk about that matchup. If Nick Bosa is dominating Mekhi Becton today, then it's game over for that Jets team. I mean, that run that really just stops everything. Like you can't run to that side. You're gonna have to run to the other side. I think who is the right tackle? It's the right tackle is George Fant, who we absolutely dominated last year against Seattle. So
because he was for the Seahawks last year. So
he was like, I think that I've said it like before. Like people are saying, oh, the Seahawks only lost the division because of that one play. No, they lost it because of George Fant and that entire offensive line that game. So I mean, George Fant, that's I didn't even know he was the right tackle.
Yeah, I did not know
that makes me lick my chops, man. So I mean, I think if they gotta really go after Mekhi Becton because he's really the guy that's gonna hold that offensive line together and make sure that the Jets do well this game. And speaking of the Jets and Mekhi Becton, he's one of my key players for the game. I kind of just put the offensive line in general because I think they really got to step it up. But Mekhi Becton really is that one guy who's got to step it up that they want to use the run against this Niners team. Also, speaking of the run, Frank Gore, another guy, Rashad Perriman, we've talked about a lot. And I could also put a lot more weapons here, but I just put 2 because I don't know how they're going to utilize their weapons. Those are the 2 guys that are expected to do really well today. So it'll be good to see those. Maybe Chris Herndon steps in or something like that. I don't know. And then as for defense, it's kind of hard because I feel like there's not many guys, but I'm going to go with their cornerbacks. I think, as I said, keep the ball moving for the Niners. I feel like they might use the pass game a lot. So their cornerbacks got to step it up. And they have a decent cornerback in Pierre Desir. I think their other one is who is it? Is it on their depth charts, it says it's Bless Austin. No clue who that guy is.
Yeah, well, the Jets are really injured right now, so it's tough. So
yeah, it's tough. I think you got right now it says, let me look at their right now it says Pierre Desir, Bless Austin, Brian Poole, Quincy Wilson. And let me pull up the Jets inactives really quickly because I think I saw that retweeted. That would be good to know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So let me pull that up really quickly. Okay, inactives today: James Morgan, quarterback; Joe Flacco, quarterback; Jamison Crowder, Bryce Huff, Jordan Wills, Nate Hairston. So 2 quarterbacks, a wide receiver, 2 defensive linemen, and a cornerback. So not much. So I think it is going to be Bless Austin starting if those guys are healthy. But I mean, again, I don't watch the Jets that much. That's why I was hoping to get a Jets fan in here. Jets brawl belled on us a bit, so it's all good. It happens. It happens. Yeah, so for sure. But yeah, you got any other Jets guys you want to add?
No, honestly, like you said, like I don't know much about the Jets. I researched them before, but I think just mainly like from what I read, like they're all injured, like honestly, and I think that like Perrine needs to have a great game. Le'Veon Bell, like him being on IR, like that's huge. That's huge. That,
for sure.
That's gotta hurt. So I think that Frank Gore is your number 1 RB at this stage in his career. With all due respect to Frank Gore, I love Frank Gore, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
With as Frank Gore is your number one RB right now, I think that's not looking too good. That's not looking too good, especially against the Niners defense.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
I think that the Jets, what they need to do, if you're thinking about the Jets and you're playing against the Niners defense, you need to have quick passes, screen passes. And so hopefully Adam Gase can do that for them so they can keep the game competitive.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Frank Gore, we haven't even brought up the fact that, I mean, as it pains me to say it, he's not an RB1 anymore.
No, he's not.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because I mean, Le'Veon Bell should be the workhorse there, but now with him out, it's going to be Gore to try to step it up, get back to the old form he used to have. But yeah, I mean, Frank Gore is going to be, I think, the two biggest guys out of the keys for both teams. I'm going to go with Frank Gore, and probably, that's tough to say for the Niners because there's a lot. I'm going to go with Mohamed Sanu, I guess. I'm excited to see what he does.
That's interesting.
Should be a fun guy to watch.
Why would you say Sanu over Ayuk, considering that Sanu was a free agent and he hasn't been playing well recently? Why would you say Sanu over Ayuk?
Yeah, so I'm saying Sanu over Ayuk kind of because of what you said. Like, he didn't play well in New England. We just signed him. It's going to be very interesting to see how he's in this 49er offense and how he adapts to this. Meanwhile, you got Brandon Ayuk. He is coming off an injury, making his NFL debut, but he knows this offense a lot better than Mohamed Sanu does, considering that he's been with this team since he was drafted round 1. He's been doing training with this team all offseason, where Mohamed Sanu just came in last week. And it's not going to be it might not be an immediate impact. I don't think it's going to be like an immediate impact like Sanders had with us, but it's still going to be a decent impact is what I'm hoping. But if he can step it up really quickly like Sanders did, that's a game changer. Because, I mean, you look at what happened last year with that young receiving core. They brought in Emmanuel Sanders, and the Debo got better. Kendrick Bourne got better. All the guys that you needed to get better got better. So if Mohamed Sanu can come in, be that number 1 or number 2 guy behind with Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, Kendrick Bourne, then it's going to look really good for this team. So, yeah, man, I got to say that's why I'm picking Sanu, but it's tough between those two. That's why but I think there's going to be a lot of targets all around for both of those guys.
Yeah, I honestly would have to go Ayuk over Sanu. I'll have to disagree with you there. Just because, one, Ayuk has a lot of potential. And so obviously he hasn't played an NFL snap yet, but he was Shanahan's go-to wide receiver. That's the receiver Shanahan wanted in the draft. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think that he can maybe get 15 targets today. I think that he was playing well in camp. So obviously you don't know what he's going to play in the NFL yet, but I think that this is a game for him to dominate.
Sanu, for sure.
He's getting older. Sanu's getting older. He's not the player that he used to be. Can he revive his career under Shanahan? Hopefully.
Maybe.
But I think that if either of those two are going to have a great game today, I think it's going to be Ayuk. Obviously, rookie wide receivers tend to struggle the rookie year, but this is a game where Brandon Ayuk can have a great game. Also, he's a Reno local, and I live in Reno, so I'm rooting for him too. So,
yeah, obviously, man. I mean, Ayuk. I think Ayuk might have the better game, get more targets than Sanu. But I was kind of looking at it as an efficiency standpoint. Hopefully, I'm thinking Sanu might be a bit more efficient than Ayuk today, maybe, or I'm hoping that he does, because if that's the case, then it's looking really good. But 15 targets for Ayuk, I think that's a bit of a reach.
We'll see.
We'll see, obviously, but I think you could see somewhere. I would not be surprised if 10 would be that. 10 is definitely not out of the question. I think that's I would say it's a bit of a bold prediction, but I think 15. I don't see that happening. But you could be looking at like 7 to 10, maybe a bit higher, but we'll see how that goes. But I think either of those guys are going to step it up pretty big today, along with Jordan Reed and all those weapons. We didn't talk about Jerick McKinnon at all. I'm surprised that didn't happen. He's going to get targeted a lot because I think they used him a lot last game. And I'm very excited to see what they do with him again today.
Yeah, and he can be used out wide too. So
for sure.
He's an all-purpose running back. He's fantastic.
Absolutely. That's the reason we signed him, man. So I think Jerick McKinnon, you could see him a lot, whether it's at wide receiver, or he wouldn't necessarily play wide receiver, but he would be that, like, you might see a lot of RPOs with him. So I think you're looking at Jerick McKinnon maybe capitalizing on his success last week and maybe being that he looks like that satellite back that we've wanted to have for a while now. So I'm hoping that Jerick McKinnon can really step it up today as he did last week, continue that success that he had last week. So yeah.
Kyle Shanahan said it himself that he's wanted Jerick McKinnon for so long, and obviously
absolutely.
We knew that, but a running back like Jerick McKinnon we haven't had, because the closest thing we've had a running back that could be used as a receiver was Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson isn't necessarily
he's no Jerick McKinnon.
He's no Jerick McKinnon, because Jerick McKinnon can be used out wide and he will dominate linebackers. It's just a mismatch.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think that Jerick McKinnon finally being healthy is huge for the running back core and huge for the Niners offense.
Yeah, for sure. So Jerick McKinnon, I think you're going to see a lot of targets to him today. We've been saying a lot, like all these weapons, you might see the ball shared around a lot. They're going to find that Jets weakness, whatever it is, and they're going to keep picking at it, because we know for sure there's definitely a weakness in that defense, considering how bad it is in the pass game, maybe even on the run game. I know they did pretty well against Buffalo last week. Josh Allen was able to run a lot, but then their running back core with Moss and Singletary didn't perform too well. But again, we'll see what happens with that run D. So, yeah, you got anything else to say before we move into score predictions?
No, I think I'm ready for score predictions.
All right, perfect. So, as Ravens 8 said, 49ers are going to destroy the Jets. I have them destroying the Jets. I had a bigger score earlier, but that was before Kittle got hurt. I put in my week 1 preview article on Brawl Network. Make sure to read that if you haven't already. But I'm going to go with Niners win 30-10. And okay. I think it's going to be a fairly big game. For the Niners, I think they're going to capitalize on something. They're coming in with I wouldn't say vengeance, but they're coming in with like a lot of motivation. Like they know they have to get back on track today. Meanwhile, the Jets, they're always going to want to win the game, but they're nowhere near as talented as this Niners team. And when the Niners are coming out like that, it's going to be big. I wouldn't say it's going to be as big as that Bengals game last year, or even the Panthers game last year, or any of the games where they won big. But I think it is going to be a pretty decent lead today for the Niners, and I think they'll have this thing wrapped up by the middle of the fourth quarter. But I'm going to go, 30-10 Niners. That's what my prediction is for today.
Yeah, so this is kind of boring, but I'm actually going to have the same prediction. So I think that
Perfect.
I think that the Niners are going to be not necessarily angry, but I think they're going to be determined today. The Jets, they have more to play for. They have more to play for than the Jets, and they're out to win a Super Bowl. I think they're angry. They're angry that they lost the Super Bowl. They're angry that they are in a position of 0-1, but I don't think that they're going to come out super, I don't think they're going to come out super angry on their faces, but I think that in their mind, they're going to say, we need to win this game. We need to dominate this game. And this needs to happen. So I think that although they're super injured, although this is not the game for them to dominate without George Kittle, I think that this is the team you want to dominate, and they're going to dominate.
Absolutely. And I think we've been repeating this a lot with all these injuries. If you can get a win with all these injuries to your team, that's huge. Whether it's the Jets or the Seahawks, if you can get a win with injuries, you're in good shape. So that's always what you want to see. But you got anything else before I end the stream?
No, I just want to say thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming on. I'm glad it went really well. So yeah, for sure. Hey guys, post game, I have no clue when that's going to be tonight. I have a lot going on, but it will be tonight. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Once again, make sure to follow Pierce on Twitter @_Pierce Baker. Check out our Brawl Network articles right here. Follow me on Twitter. Yet again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns about the stream, you want to talk during the game or after the game, make sure to hit up one of us. We're free to talk. But anyways, Pierce, thanks for coming on the stream today. It was a blast.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. And can you just stay on after I end this stream just for a bit? I just want to talk to you about a few things. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Go Niners.
Go Niners.